Humans were not designed to work 40 hours a week under fluorescent lighting in a cube farm. Yet this is what most people continue to do, even though there's never been more options available to them. If you drove to a 9 to 5 this week, I'm sorry to say, this is you, and it used to be me. The thing that really blows my mind about society today is that we're all bearing witness to people that are way dumber, way less intelligent than the people that I know are watching my videos here, that continue to have a massive success. And I'm sorry to say that while some of them may have come from money, most of them didn't, and they ended up there by design. I was able to do the exact same thing, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can actually take action and do the same yourself. If you're into self, wealth, or personal development, drop a sub. I've got some awesome videos coming in the next couple of weeks you guys are not going to want to miss. I first heard about the concept of lifestyle design from the book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek. I've got a whole video devoted to reviewing that book, so I'd encourage you to check that video out after this one. That book really broke my brain, and it showed me that while at the time I was working at a cube farm, hating my life, there was way bigger options out there. Almost immediately, I started seeking out other people besides Tim that were living a lifestyle by design. I started to believe that even more was possible. The story continued until eventually I replicated those results myself. I went from making $14,000 a year, unable to make my own ends meet, to building a 7-figure agency that I can run from anywhere in the world that's unlocked my dream life. I was able to move from the frozen tundra to this beautiful home here in Arizona with a gorgeous pool in the front yard, surrounded by palm trees, living the easy life. Here's exactly what I did so that you can do the same. First of all, what is lifestyle design? Lifestyle design is living with intention and pursuing a life that aligns with your dreams from start to finish. For me, that meant being a digital nomad, which means that I needed to create a business that enabled me to roam freely, do whatever I wanted, and have income at a level that supported that. It meant that I didn't want to have to dress a certain way, and it also meant that I took my health, wealth, and exercise very seriously. It's different for everyone, but in short, lifestyle design means taking the time to figure out what it actually is that you want out of this life, and you don't just dream it, but you go and create it in your own life. Things really started to change for me when I really started to adopt the identity of the type of person that I wanted to become. Who has a lifestyle like you would want to live? What do they do? Where do they dress? Where do they live? What do they drive? These are the questions that you need to answer to start creating your own lifestyle by design. The second step is that you need to start small. Later in the video, I'm going to explain how I uprooted my entire life from Minneapolis, moved it completely across the country, but that's probably a quantum leap if you're just finding out about lifestyle design for the first time. In your local community, how is the type of person that you'd like to become living their life today? For me, I started adopting this into my everyday life, even when I could not possibly afford to move across the country and had no way at that time to get out of Minneapolis. The first thing that I started doing was I started going to high-end coffee shops. I started frequenting restaurants where people like I wanted to become would hang out. And I started putting myself in the environment of the type of person that I wanted to be. Rather than hanging out at dive bars, I started spending time at places where the fully actualized version of myself would be spending time. Rather than taking my work and going to the local coffee shop that was maybe the closest, that had the paint that was peeling off the walls and was super run down, I started going to coffee shops that were more modern, tons of daylight, a nice aesthetic, the type of place that motivated me to do more work, to do better work, to be more creative, and to just be more motivated in my life. Where in your local community do successful people hang out? Go there, spend time there. You're the product of the people that you hang around with. So if you want to become a successful product, hang around with successful people at the places that they frequent. Go to them, they're not going to come to you. This is going to rub off on you in so many different ways. You might meet successful people, you might network with them, or maybe you just overhear the conversations that they're having in the vicinity of yourself. This will enable you to organically start becoming one of them. By putting yourself in the right types of situations, you can start creating this type of reality for yourself. Another way where you can actually start doing this right now, right this very second, is in your pocket. I was listening to an interview from somebody that I really respect a lot, George Heaton. He's the founder of this brand called Represent and 247 that I really admire a lot. A few years ago, he completely transformed himself. He completely transformed his entire organization and really leveled up everything that he was doing. In a podcast, he was asked what really made a difference in doing that, and he said he completely revamped his social media following.
I think the first things I did was looked at who I was around and who I'm following and completely stripped it back. Anything that wasn't going to serve me in that realm of learning or fitness or fashion, gone. Get rid of that shit. Even if it's your friend that's going to DM you and say, why have you unfollowed me? I want to go on my phone when I wake up every morning. I want to see Ollie March on back squatting 200 kg. I don't want to see someone fucking having a pint from the night before. Like, I want things that are going to motivate me.
If you're not motivated by the people that you're following, they might be standing in the way of you actually getting to where you want to go. Follow people that show you what's possible. Follow people that motivate you, that put you in a good mind space and get you motivated about working on your own goals. Now, let's talk about location. Location for me was my biggest goal. I really wasn't happy in Minneapolis, the cold winters, I had seasonal depression, it just really wasn't suiting the type of lifestyle that I wanted. I enjoy warm weather, I enjoy beaches, I enjoy pools. So how did I actually go from living in Minnesota to moving to a beautiful villa-style home here with a pool in the front yard in Arizona? The first question that you want to ask yourself is, hey, long-term, where do I really want to be? When you think about your dream life, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Is it palm tree and beaches? Is it lush rainforest? Is it a ski town with a little coffee shop that you do all of your work from before you go skiing every afternoon? What does that dream life of yours really look like? I'd encourage you to make a list of the pros and cons. That's exactly what I did. But this is where most people stop. Lifestyle design means that we take this a step further. Instead of just dreaming it, we begin planning it. So when my fiance and I were looking at moving, there's a couple different places that we were looking at. We were looking at Phoenix, Arizona, Key West, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, and a number of different places in between. What we did is we actually created a pros and cons list, and we talked about what each of those places would offer us. We got a solid understanding, and it turned out that Phoenix, Arizona offered the most that we were looking for out of all the different pros and cons. The next thing that we did was we actually started looking at apartment listings. We started looking at homes. We started understanding the cost of living. We started looking at neighborhoods in Google Maps to understand where things were in relation to each other and how far away they'd be from each other. And we started really immersing ourselves in the local community, even though we were nowhere close to it. I'd encourage you to look at it every single day. Start following the places local to where you actually want to be on social media. Start putting yourself in that mindset. So again, when you're greeted with that stuff, when you open up your phone, it's going to remind you of the goal that you're working toward and the lifestyle that you're trying to design for yourself. Now that we've landed on a location that we want to start working towards, another good place to look at is your day-to-day wardrobe. When you look at the identity of the person that you want to become, how does the ideal you dress? How do they show up in the world? How you dress, what you wear is a statement that you make to the world every single day when you go and exist in society. What do you want that statement to look like? How would the fully actualized ideal version of yourself show up in the world? Now, if you're watching this, there's probably a good chance that you're not ready just to throw all of your old clothes away and just completely start fresh. It's completely unrealistic and honestly pretty wasteful. So what I did is I started actually just curating a couple different outfits that really put me on and made me feel the way that I wanted to feel. And what this did is it started kind of shifting the identity of the person that I was showing up in the world as, from somebody that was wearing, a collared shirt and a blazer to work every day because that's what I was required to wear, to somebody that actually had the freedom to dress the way that he actually wanted to dress, even though I might not have actually been there yet. It started building momentum, and over time, I had completely revamped my entire wardrobe. I was still working a 9-to-5 job, of course, so I still had some of my work clothes, but as soon as I got done with work, I put on my new identity and I started building my business. Another big factor is to actually look at your health and wellness. How does the fully actualized version of you look, feel, and eat? When you think about Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, what type of food do you think that they're eating? Now, I know that Warren Buffett, who's one of the wealthiest people in the world, eats McDonald's every single day, but let's treat him as a total exception. Do you think that these hyper-successful entrepreneurs are eating a bunch of garbage every day? Because they're not. They're eating well, they've got chefs on staff, they're eating well-curated, whole foods that are fueling their body to continue achieving success. When we look at our dream lifestyle, I don't think that any of us are saying to ourselves, man, I'd love just to have a great big beer belly, and I'd like to have a bunch of risk markers like high blood pressure and heart conditions. If you're going to create your own life by design, you want to actually be able to enjoy it, and that starts with your health and wellness. How do you look? How do you feel? What type of gym do you work out at? What do you do for workouts? Think about these types of things and the type of image that you actually want to have for yourself so that you can show up in the world and feel the way that you want to feel. And this isn't a vanity thing. If we want to have energy, if we want to be able to go for the hikes, to enjoy the type of lifestyle that we want to be able to enjoy, we need to actually have a healthy being. The last piece of lifestyle design that I'd encourage you to focus on is really focusing on relationships. Do not settle. You need to figure out exactly the types of people that you want to be around and go and seek those types of relationships. But first, you might need to make some changes yourself. If you want to be around the type of people that you want to be around, you first need to make sure that you are the type of person that those types of people would want to be around themselves. A big thing that I always like to try and do is I try and actually go and hang out at the types of places that the people that are going to bring me further forward in life might hang out at. So the gym that I go to, the types of people that go to that gym are top tier people. They're working and building things. I specifically have an office at WeWork so I can be around other entrepreneurs, other creators, and organically bump into those types of people. The same is true when it comes time to look for a partner. I spent a lot of years single because I hadn't found the type of person that I really wanted to bring in my life until I met my fiance. But if I'd met her 10 years earlier, I probably never would have started a relationship with her because I wasn't ready for that type of relationship yet. All of these are a bunch of different pieces of architecture when it comes to actually creating your own lifestyle by design. Like I said, I'd encourage you to start small and then start chipping away, but actually taking action on the things that I talked about on this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you're gonna do to create your own lifestyle by design. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of great videos coming your way in the next couple of weeks. A great video to watch after this one would be my review right here of Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek. There are tons of lessons in that book, and that's really what started it all for me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.